Plain and Simple Beauty, the Flower Communion, 1923. In the city of Prague, in the land of Czechoslovakia, in the year 1923, a time between the two world wars, there was a church. But the building did not look much like a church. Some churches have towers with bells that ring out over the land. Some churches have tall spires that reach to the sky. Some churches have massive doors of carved wood or enormous windows of stained glass with colored light shining through. Some churches have great organs with hundreds of pipes, from small ones like drinking straws to huge ones that touch the ceiling. And some churches have statues or pictures or candles or chalices. This church had none of those things. It had no bells, no spires, no stained glass windows. It had no organ to make beautiful music. It didn't even have a piano. It had no carvings of wood or statues of stone. It had no candles or chalices. It had no flowers. The church did have some things. It had four walls and a ceiling and a floor. It had a door and a few windows. It had some hard wooden chairs. But that was all. Plain, simple. Except the church also had people who came to it every Sunday. And they were the most important part of the church of all. Because without people, a church, any church, is just a building, no matter how tall its spires or how loud its bells. We have a plain and simple church, the people declared, because we are plain and simple people. We need nothing more. The church also had one other very important thing. It had a minister, and his name was Norbert Chapek. He had been the minister at the Plain and Simple Church for 2 years. Every Sunday, Minister Chapek went to church, and he spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quietly and still in those hard wooden chairs. When he was done speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they went home. And that was all. No music, no candles, no food, not even coffee or donuts. Minister Chapek had wondered sometimes if there might be something, perhaps just a little bit of something more. He wrote some songs and the people sang them, but nothing else came to mind, so the church went on as simple and plain as before. Springtime came to the city of Prague in the land of Czechoslovakia in the year 1923, and Norbert Chapek went for a stroll. The rains had come, the birds were singing, the flowers were blooming all over the land. The world was beautiful. And then an idea came to him, simple and clear, plain as the day. The next Sunday, he asked all the people of the church to bring a flower or a budding branch or even a twig. Each person was to bring one. What kind? They asked. What color? What size? You choose, he said. Each of you choose whatever you like. And so on the next Sunday, which was the first day of summer, the people came and brought flowers of all different colors and sizes and kinds. There were yellow daisies and red roses. There were white lilies and blue asters and dark-eyed pansies and light green leaves, pink and purple, orange and gold. There were all those colors and even more. Flowers filled all the vases, and the church wasn't so plain and simple anymore. Minister Chapek spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quiet and still in those hard wooden chairs. These flowers are like ourselves, he said. Different colors, different shapes, different sizes, each needing different kinds of care, but each beautiful, each important and special in its own way. When he was done speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they each chose a different flower from the vases before they went home. And that was all. And it was beautiful, plain and simple as the day. Well, some more about that flower communion. Norbert Chapek is featured in session 28 and 29 of Around the Church Around the Year. The hymnal Singing the Living Tradition contains 3 of his hymns. Number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit. Number 28, View the Starry Realm, and number 78, Color and Fragrance. And it also contains 2 readings, number 723, the Flower Communion Prayer, and number 724, Consecration of the Flowers. Chapek was born in 1870 in Bohemia, which is part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He was raised in the Roman Catholic faith, but converted to the Baptist faith at the age of 18. He became a minister and a missionary and was very active in that religion. As World War I began, he feared arrest by the Austrian authorities for his nationalistic and anti-Catholic writings, so he moved to the United States in 1914. He continued his ministerial work in the Baptist churches, but in 1919 he resigned, having decided that he could no longer, in good conscience, be a Baptist. In 1921, he and his wife Maya and their children joined the First Unitarian Church of Essex County in New Jersey. 6 months later, the Chapek family left for their native land of Bohemia, which had become a part of Czechoslovakia after the war. There, they started a Unitarian church with Norbert and after 1926, Maya as ordained ministers. 20 years later, it was the largest Unitarian church in the world, with over 3,200 members. However, war came once again. Norbert was arrested by the Gestapo in 1941, spent a year in prison, then was sent to the concentration camp in Dachau. He died in 1942 at Hortheim Castle in Austria, poisoned by gas. Ma had gone to the United States in 1939 to help raise funds for the refugee program that was sponsored by the Unitarians and the Friends, the Quakers. She stayed in the United States for the duration of the war, serving as a Unitarian minister in New Bedford, Massachusetts, then working to help refugees. She learned of her husband's death after the war was over. She died in 1966.